mother, it's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just a trio of feathery brethren weathering any season to see the Eagles eating teams like Scrammy's top with cheese. It's Philadelphia. Bo, Sheil, and Zach kicking it cooler than 3 penguins till Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some Birds with Friends. The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some Birds with Friends. Bo, Sheil, and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping their wings on Birds with Friends.
All I know is Zach said he has a game where Sheil don't read both 7,000 words, and I said I'm in. Let's go. Let's do it.
And so the purpose
that's what I needed was not to get at least one more reader. This episode is presented by BetMGM, the exclusive betting partner of The Athletic. Sign up at betmgm.com using the promo code TheAthleticPod. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birds with Friends on a Wednesday late morning, almost high noon. Bo Wulf, back in the fold. Zach Berman, Marissa Morris, rocking the robe, looking great. But I do have to say, not as great as Sheil Kapadia with this just dashing beard. You look fantastic. How are you?
I need a lot of advice on this. I mean, this is new to me. I was just, as I was making some tea, I looked on my fridge and I saw a dashing young man with a beard on a wedding invite. And I realized, I mean, I got Michael Dunn at my disposal. I mean, his thing is shaped up, trimmed.
It's rarely shaped up. So that's the best advice right there. Make sure you keep it shaped up, because once it gets down the neck and on your cheeks,
I know.
done.
So I shaved the neck, but now I feel like this is too long. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, that doesn't look too long to me. I think that looks like a good length.
I want a nice short, but I really don't know what to do with it. But you know what? I figured we need some content today. We need something to talk about. And so I'll keep the beard for one episode and then see what happens.
Now, how many days of growth are we talking here?
It's a good question. I have no idea. I mean, I just,
it's about, it looks like about 8 hours for Zach, but I know you and me don't quite grow at his.
It's not true, actually.
Yeah, I'm probably on par with Zach, I think. But that I did the head shave last night, but I would say maybe a week. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
The chat is loving it, Sheil. Absolutely.
Well, they're saying I need my AARP and I look like I'm 65. And so that I have a midlife crisis every year after the season ends. And so this is probably a part of that. I don't know that that's quite the look I'm going.
You know what I actually think this, I think this makes you look, I feel like you could easier transition to NFL coach with that look. I feel like sport
Gus
put a little
Bradley,
visor
Chris
on there.
Richard right here.
Yeah,
maybe,
I feel like you're ready to
Good
go.
coach for Pete Carroll.
You would look at home on the sidelines right now.
Yeah. Well, pre-beard and pre-talk of midlife crisis, I was actually going to say that I hope this is not Sheil's last episode with us and that he doesn't retire, because Sheil had a great week last week. 4 stories, 4 podcasts, free agency prediction. He had his predictions today. And apparently in the NFL now, if you have a great week, you threaten to retire, right? Isn't that like, we see Sean McVay, Aaron Donald, all the talk is you reach the pinnacle that week and then you walk off in the sunset. You don't need the stress. So I figured after Sheil's week last week, he could pull the retirement leverage play, which all the which the top coach and the top defensive players seem to do right now.
I would be too bored, I think. Like my our kids were over at my parents for a day last week, and my wife and I just sit at the table. It's all quiet. We're not really talking to each other. I'm like, oh, I guess this is what it's going to be like when the kids are out of the house. So yeah, I need something to keep myself occupied.
I'm always fascinated in those situations, like at what level the person needs to be for the other side to call the bluff. Like, yeah, are you really going to retire? Right? Like, you're 36 years old. Are you really going to leave now? In Sean Payton's case, he obviously wasn't 36. He was older. He was ready to walk off. But that retirement leverage play is always fascinating because you got to be willing to walk through on it at some point too.
Yeah, well, he has the leverage. He can do it. Yeah, he can certainly pull that pretty easily. But yeah, I mean, it is very funny. Like, spend time with my family. Like, you didn't even get married yet. Like, You have a fiance. I mean, you don't have like 3 kids who are under 5.
Michael Dunn.
I mean, what are you gonna do all day? But
Yeah, what if Michael Dunn went to the Browns and was like, if you don't give me that starting job, I'm retiring.
I think off-season time is enough time together 24/7. So he needs to be busy in the fall for sure.
I'm all for the CTC. So Sean McVay, Aaron Donald, you have the leverage now. Do what you need to do.
All right. Well, we don't have a ton of Eagles news to get to on this episode, so we'll do a little bit of a reverse Kapadia because I was absent last week. We'll do a little. I've got a list of now 12 things because I had a couple things we might talk about up top, Super Bowl included, but I'll fold it in. So we'll go 12 things. You guys can give me a number.
One-upping me. I'm stealing my bet and one-upping me. All right.
The 12 parrot stoles. Does that work? No,
not really.
Wait, what did you think of our title while you were gone? Is that included in here?
Oh, it's not included. It was good.
Oh, okay. We brainstormed together.
No,
I figured it was just the Marissa.
It was all Marissa.
I sent them 2 suggestions.
Yes.
The other was early birds get the words because it was a morning pod.
Nice.
So I really, I don't know.
It wasn't that early though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in Zach terms, it wasn't early. But
I told Marissa we should just do like an SEO focus.
We're at a very down the middle drive.
And see what you did. But
I was worried you would come back from
Take
Jamaica.
it too hard.
Yeah. It's like he's gonna fly right home. So
you know what my review of Jamaica is? Everybody sounds, it's very weird. Everybody sounds like Chet Hanks. No, nobody's gonna sell me on that.
No, mine cut out. What'd you say again?
What you're talking about?
Don't worry about it. I feel like that's gonna land for like 2 people. It'll be good.
Yeah, kill a cow. I feel like we'll appreciate it.
I think that's probably right. All right, Zach, why don't you go first? 1 to 12. Where would you like to start?
I just pick a number.
You just pick a number.
5, Jalen Rose. Let's do it.
Okay. We start with Sheil. I wanted to congratulate you. You did a good job taking Zach to task on the student union bit. And this is a short one, but I thought it was overlooked that Zach explaining that he ate there. He was like, "Well, I was just there for 3 minutes." And I just like picturing the scene of the students in the student union seeing Zach, seeing the the old man reporter come in with his Chick-fil-A and just like scarf it down ravenously in 3 minutes and then beeline right out of there. I thought it was.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a 6-piece chicken. A grilled chicken nugget thing. I mean, how long does that take to eat?
Right? But I mean, you're there. You're not even going to take in the scene. You're just gonna shove it in. I don't know.
It was utilitarian.
It was funny.
Well, we did get a couple messages from some educators saying they were contacting Zach, and of course Zach would be my in at a lot of these places. So keep those coming if you work at Universidad.
There you go. That's all I had for that one. So a dynamic start.
That's fine.
To the 12 of parrot stalls. Okay. Sheil?
If I have some takes I need to get in, do I sprinkle them in whenever?
Sure.
Let's say I don't want to steal it. It's your day. It's Stacy's day here. All right. I will go with number 3. Do a little Allen Iverson.
Number 3. Okay. Clearly the low point of the last episode.
I know what this is.
The like who can go lower to be more obsequious to Chip Kelly. And I think it's important to contrast Sheil's take on Gannon. Like he's all out on him through one season just because of the results, but no sells any importance of like what he's like interpersonally versus I feel like my rapport with Chip is better than any head coach I've ever covered. He was and then Zach coming in below with an absolute joy to cover. I mean, that was just one of the most nauseating stretches of the show we've ever had.
I mean, I stand by that. He was a great. I should probably thank Chip Kelly. He helped my career in a big way, I feel, because there was a lot of attention on those Eagles teams. That was my first time as a full-time writer, really. And so it makes people appreciate your work more. So I stand by it. I have no regrets about my take there. I think that's true. He answered my questions better than any other coach I've covered. Yeah.
I am going to take Bo to task on this take
yeah,
here.
Take him,
Okay,
baby.
let's go.
Give it to him.
Because Bo rips on like the coach who mentions your name and tries to cozy up to reporters. Chip wasn't like that. But the appeal to Chip was that he would like give you actual thought to your questions. Like I think you would appreciate that.
I don't think that's really true.
No, that
depends.
I believe.
I feel like he was very often like he would shoot down the premise of a question without having thought about it, just because he was so like, you guys are dumb sometimes.
Even that would result in a good quote often. So,
okay.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, it's
you seem to be.
You guys, I leave for one episode, and all of a sudden it's a celebrate Chip Kelly party.
You seem to
listen.
Be
I don't care if someone says hi to me in the hallway. I don't need someone asking me how my freaking weekend was. Okay, so those things don't resonate with me. In our house, like I said, we don't say good. My wife and I, the first time we see each other in the morning, we don't say anything. No one says good morning or anything else. You go about your day, and so you know what? Chip Kelly would fit right in the Kapadia household.
A memo to all future coaches: if you want Bo Wulf to like you, you got to start every question with Bo. That's a great question.
Oh, please! You're the king of the Zach. I mean, every head coach is giving you a Zach.
I don't think it's the Curry favor. I just think it's because you build relationships, right? So
okay.
I think, yeah.
I mean, Sheil knew it at the end of that conversation. He's like, "We're gonna get ripped for this." I didn't even think. I thought that was a light ripping.
Dave Phipp really. I'm looking at that 2014 season. I was just recently looking at the Eagles' DVO rankings throughout the years. 2013, they're 9th in DVOA. 3rd on offense. I mean, that was they took the league by storm. That was a very fun season to cover. I'll stand by that.
I agree with that.
Very fun season. 2014, Phippster really kind of saved him there. Number 1 special teams in the entire league there in 2014 really lifted them up to number 7 in total DVOA. Zach, what happened in that 2016 season when Bo and I were gone? I was looking at this. Eagles finished 6th in overall DVOA in 2016. I mean, I was in Seattle. I thought they were a complete afterthought that year. I thought they sucked that year. What did I miss about 2006? What are your memories of 2016? Were they better than that final 7-9 record indicated, or is there something weird about that? Was another year, number 2 in special teams DVOA. So maybe that was it.
A few things there. You mentioned special teams. Special teams was really good that year. The Sam Bradford narrative, if you recall, at the last 8 games, he turned it on later in the season. They were just really inconsistent that year. They had some games, they beat the Patriots in Foxborough, which is really hard to do. Then they get blown out in some other games. They beat the Cowboys in overtime in Dallas. So they were inconsistent that year. They had so many moving parts. It was a very weird offense. There was
where did they rank offensively? Do you have it, Sheil?
20th.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was all Schwartz and Phippster. 4th in defensive. Man, look at that.
Schwartz.
2016.
Oh, no, 16. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
2016, 2017. 4th and 5th in defensive DVOA. Those were the years.
So Phipp
was one of the best. He was probably the 2nd best special teams coach in the league until he was Kapadia cursed.
Yeah, he was on a heater there. 2014 to 2016. Wait, was he there in 2014? Yes,
he was. He was there the whole
first, 10th, and 2nd. They haven't been higher than 15th since then. Which
they were this year. Sorry, go ahead.
This year and 2018, yeah.
No, I don't think we need to go down 2016 memory lane for listeners.
We got a lot.
If you want a June episode on the 2016 Eagles, or 2015 Eagles rather, I am happy to give that to you. You asked about 2015, right? Not 2016.
No, I was saying 16.
16, yeah. 16.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was answering. Okay, 2016.
16 was Wentz's rookie year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That year was they were playing. Well, they started off really hot. They started off 3-0, and then they almost beat Detroit. And Ryan Matthews had a costly fumble. And actually, the team was playing really well until Lane Johnson got suspended. And when Lane Johnson went down, Halapoulivaati Vaitai steps in as a rookie at right tackle, and he got abused by Bo's favorite guy, Ryan Kerrigan. And that was kind of the downfall, if you will, of that team. There was also this was pre-Doug getting embraced for analytics. I'm sorry, not for analytics, for being aggressive. But there was a memorable moment against Baltimore late in the season when Carson Wentz ties the game on the final play, or I'm sorry, it's a potential game-tying touchdown, and they go for 2 to try to win in regulation. They missed the 2-point conversion, but Doug was really trying to cement the aggressiveness then. So anyways,
and John Harbaugh saw that and said, I'd like to lose a game that way too.
He goes 5 years from now, wait till you see what I do.
So anyways, I'm sorry. I confused 15 with 16.
That's okay.
I mean,
who's paying attention? Yeah. There's like 20 people in the chat. I look like I'm 70. I mean, come on.
Well, I hope people are paying attention. There's a lot going on today. I got it. So yeah, this is
not much of a dynamic. All right. Over to you, Zach.
All right. Let's go with 8.
8. Okay. So you guys both published stories this week. I wanted to give you each a chance to expand a little bit. Sheil, you had a bold prediction for the Eagles today.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about that, actually.
And I wanted you to get a little bit bolder. Tell us exactly what you're thinking. Your bold prediction was that the Eagles are going to bring in a quarterback to either replace or compete with Jalen Hurts, and you sort of left it open for could be a veteran, could be a draft pick. Let's talk it through a little bit.
I just feel like they're going to look at Jalen Hurts from last year. They're going to look at the resources they have available, and they're not going to stay put and just say, let's give Jalen Hurts another shot and we'll figure it out next year. I think that's against Howie Roseman's nature. I think he wants to be aggressive. I think that their core beliefs of building an efficient and explosive passing game as the key to sustained success, which, as I've outlined, they have not had sustained success in quite a long time. This is their biggest stretch of mediocrity in maybe 20 years with the franchise. And so I feel like they're going to do something. Now, I would have liked to be more specific there. A few reasons why I wasn't. I mean, one is I just didn't want to write about Deshaun Watson in the piece. I mean, I don't feel right sort of even mentioning that as a possibility right now with what he's facing and, what he's been accused of. And so that to me felt a little like, I know we've discussed it in the past and written about, but like until there's a resolution there, I don't want to have a piece like, 10 destinations for Deshaun Watson. Right. So, if I were going to sort of name, he would have been someone that would have certainly got brought up there. I think if Russell Wilson is available, which as I wrote in the piece, I think Russell Wilson's going to stay put. But if he were available, I think they would call and maybe be pretty aggressive there in trying to land him. And then, the other thing is like the quarterback factory thing, how we use that at the wrong time, in the wrong context. He regretted it right away. He's regretted it since. However, if ever there were a time to kind of embrace that approach, now would probably be that time. Like if there's a quarterback you like there, maybe you make a slight move up, maybe they drop to you at 15 and you say, this guy has upside. We really believe, he can be, we like kind of taking a lottery ticket on this guy. Like, to me, that is not a bad approach to draft a Malik Willis or whoever it might be and say, okay, we've got Willis, we've got Hurts. If Hurts improves, great outcome. If Willis is good, that's a great outcome. If neither of them do, well, it's back to the drawing board, but we're not just going to sit here and not do anything. So that was kind of my take, is that I feel like at some point this offseason, like that's going to be a big story. Eagles add quarterback X. What does this mean? What do they do going forward? And it's not going to be we're sitting here in August saying, all right, Hurts is the starter. He gets another shot. Minshew's his backup. Let's see how 2022 plays out. I don't believe that is what's going to happen.
What do you think, Zach?
I think that if Russell Wilson's available, that's the guy they would go hard for. I think.
What are we going to do? We do have to do a big Russell Wilson thing, don't we?
Yeah, because and that opinion might be colored by the fact that's what I would do if I was running the Eagles, right? Is that I would try to get Russell Wilson. So we'll save that for the Russell Wilson episode.
Big Ciara guy.
I think I'm a big Russell Wilson guy. He's an elite quarterback. And then he's an elite quarterback.
What have the Seahawks done in the last couple of years?
The Seahawks have made the playoffs in all, but they've had
So have the Eagles.
wins. They've had double-digit wins in all but 2 of his years as the quarterback. We'll save this for the Russell Wilson episode. Anyways, I think if there's clarity with the Deshaun Watson situation, I think the Eagles could be players in that market. Where I disagree, well, and I suppose they could draft someone. I don't think they are just going to add quarterbacks in kind of that mid-range. I either think it's an elite player or they roll the dice with Hurts again. I don't think they're in the market in between.
I sort of agree. I agree with you, and I disagree with Sheil on the notion they would bring somebody in to compete with him, assuming that it's not disregarding a first round draft pick, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's what I meant by
okay.
That would be Hurts is still on the roster, but you draft somebody, and
but that guy's. I mean, he's drafted to replace him eventually, right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
short term compete.
But I just think hand like Malik Willis the job if you drafted him, would you? If Hurts was still on the roster?
No. I agree, but I mean, Trey Lance wasn't drafted to compete with Jimmy Garoppolo. He was drafted to eventually replace him. Like that. Yeah. That's the idea. I feel like that would be, even if it's short, even if in the short term, it would still hurt his job. I think if they draft somebody, that's a replacement. I agree. I don't think they're in the market for like a Jimmy G or somebody like that.
I don't think so either.
Okay. And then Zach, on yours, I guess we sort of talked about this a little bit. Do you think the Stafford thing, it was in your post Super Bowl thoughts, plays into the Eagles' thought process at all? Or is that you just looking for an angle?
Well, I saw Sheil write about it that morning, and it had been on my mind. And I thought that I really wanted to reinforce the pass rusher component to that. So, but as far as the Stafford angle, I thought Sheil did a really good job outlining it in his thoughts from the Super Bowl, that the infrastructure that the Rams had in place also allowed Stafford to thrive, right? Like, Stafford's not a significantly better quarterback than he was in Detroit. He's just at a place where there's a better infrastructure for him to succeed. And if you look at the last 5 years of the Rams and the last 5 years of the Eagles, it's different, right? The Rams have averaged 10.75 wins since McVay's been there. The Eagles have had one season with double-digit wins in the past 7 years or so, right? Ooh. So it's a different situation. But what I do think with the quarterback conversation is the quarterback can, to use the term Bo's used, rise the or is it raise the tide or rise the tide? The tides will rise.
Lifts all boats.
Yes, I believe that.
Lift the curtain.
So
I think that's something else.
So but I don't think the Eagles can act as if they are the 2021 Rams, where if you just upgrade Goff for Stafford, then all of a sudden you're a Super Bowl team. But I think the Eagles need to have a longer window in mind. That's why the conversation's different if you're talking Russell Wilson compared to Aaron Rodgers, let's say.
Nice there are the lifters. The athletic coffee mug in your background, Zach.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that, and I'm grateful for.
I think you should add one new thing every episode.
It'd be a good game.
That was like PTI growing up, when they would have the new face every time. Yeah, I would be happy to do that. I was talking to Emily about this recently. I read all my books on my Kindle. You have
the Kindle handy?
Oh, yeah,
you do the podcast?
He knew this episode was going to be boring as hell, and it was
sitting on. I was doing some reading this morning, and I had it here, and so but I a lot of the books that I've read recently, I don't have the hardcovers or the paperbacks for, and that would have been good back there. So I probably need to consider, for a podcasting perspective, to start buying more of the hardcovers and the paperbacks, just so we can mix it up, because like these Kennedy books I haven't read since my senior year of college. So it's been over 10
Kennedy
years.
Head.
Yeah. So anyways, if someone's just tuning in, they're probably like, why does he have so many books about Kennedy back there? And that's why.
I don't think there's anyone who's wondering that. They all know.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Sheil?
No idea.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
All right, you're on the hook then to pick a number.
I will take 6.
6. You guys had an interesting conversation about some of the potential free agents, and I just wanted to follow up on one of the guys you mentioned, Jesse Bates. Where did he go to school?
Demon Deacons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is awesome. I imagine he's gonna get tagged.
Well, there was a very funny there was a funny through line in the Super Bowl broadcast where Chris Collinsworth kept being like, well, now maybe Sheil can do this better because I know he's got a good Collinsworth, but it's like, well, Jesse Bates, oh boy, he was outstanding in 2020, but took a step back in 2021, but he's been great in the playoffs. And then it's like Chidobe Awuzie was, boy, was he unbelievable in the regular season, but he's taken a step back in the playoffs. Like, well, Chris, maybe instead of them fluctuating like that, maybe the grades you're using are just Roberto Garbaggio.
What were your emotions? I'm curious, but what were your emotions watching Duke Wake Forest last night?
I watched the second half. My emotions were, I didn't have a lot of emotions. I don't get nonplussed. I did think that it was offensive goaltending on the last play of the Duke game, or the last Duke score, but they almost, that would have been a hell of a shot if it had gone in.
All right. Let's move on.
I don't think anybody cares about that. All right, we're through 4 of the 12, so let's take a break since we've got 2 breaks, and then we'll be back on the other side.
Is your company or business having a tough time hiring the people you need? There are 46% more jobs being posted than before the pandemic, and there are 44% fewer candidates applying to each one. So you need to find the right candidates and hire them fast. Workable can help. Workable accelerates every step of your hiring process, from find to hire. Workable helps you cast the widest net possible by posting your jobs to all the top job boards, more than 200 total, with just one click. It helps you evaluate and hire quickly with modern tools like video interviews and e-signatures. And Workable will help you automate repetitive tasks like scheduling interviews so you can spend your time on what's important, making hires. Whether you're hiring for your coffee shop or your engineering team, Workable is exactly what you need to hire the right people fast. Start hiring today with a risk-free 15-day trial. If you hire during the trial, which many do, it won't cost a thing. Just go to workable.com to start hiring. Workable is hiring made easy. Food that's fast doesn't have to be fast food. Freshly offers quality meals without the hard work. Their meals are designed by nutritionists, cooked by chefs, then delivered fresh. Other meal deliveries need to be prepped and cooked, but Freshly is ready to eat in 3 minutes. No one wants to spend an hour cooking dinner after a rough day at work or an infuriating commute. At the end of a long day, takeout doesn't have to be your only option for an easy dinner. Whether it's for you or your whole family, Freshly gives you convenience, flavor, and nutrition. Get delicious, chef-made, nutrient-packed meals delivered straight to your door. No cooking required, fresh and never frozen, ready to heat and enjoy in just 3 minutes. You can use the Freshly website or app to find meals that fit your lifestyle with plans that work for your dietary needs, preferences, tastes, and family size. Choose from over 50 nutritionist-designed entrees like their classic steak peppercorn, multi-serve sides like their masterful mac and cheese, or their new line of plant-based meals. Freshly is affordable and convenient. Skip the grocery shopping and dirty dishes. Your meals arrive cooked and fresh every week. New meals are added weekly, so you're never stuck eating the same thing over and over. You've got to give this a try. Stop stressing about dinner. Right now, Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off your first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/birds. That's $40 off at freshly.com/birds.
All right, back on Birds with Friends. Bo Wulf, Zach Berman, Sheil, Kapadia, Marissa Morris. Zach, you're on the hook. Give me a number.
6.
6 has already been taken.
Okay.
Pay
10.
attention.
10. This is not that exciting of a thing, but
Continuing a trend. Good setup.
Yeah, there's like one thing in here that I'm actually excited to talk about. there's these. I've seen a couple of think pieces on like why is it that in popular culture that's been made the last couple of years, like it's like an alternate universe where we're not in the pandemic, and it's like they're not making shows where we're in the pandemic. It's just pretending that life is different. And I feel like that's like a missed opportunity of like using the way that like people wear masks or don't wear masks to like as like a character commentary, or like I feel like there's a big missed opportunity of all these different angles to like what life is like. I know that in the beginning it was like everybody wanted to just get away and it was escapism, but like this is our life. These are our lives now. We gotta. There's a lot to comment on. I don't know.
I couldn't disagree anymore. I want I don't want my pandemic content. Like I've had enough.
Yeah, but there's plenty of other non-pandemic content. Like,
okay, so that's what I want. And I think most people are like me. There's not a whole billions there where you're catching up on billions.
No,
they're
they're in pandemic. Okay,
they have the subtle cues in there.
Okay,
I don't need anything. I don't need any pandemic content at all. I've had my fill. Go ahead and lift me to a place of before or after as I watch it. I mean, are you talking about like like is it comedy? Like if Curb did some pandemic content, then that would actually be funny. I would be in for that. But I mean, if you're talking about like a drama or something serious about this, no, thank you. Get it. Algorithm, don't even show it to me when I open up my streaming apps.
Well, Curb did.
Okay.
What did they do? I can't remember.
Don't you remember he was a pandemic hoarder?
Yes. Yeah. So that was fine. Yes.
Yeah.
If you can pull that off, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't need like I mean, well, so for one, so we are in quarantine now, and it's like, I mean, just like the overrun nature of like being home alone with the two kids under 5 for 14 days is like, that's an interesting, I mean, it's a lot, but I feel like there's something to be done there content wise. I don't know.
I would say,
but I do not want to watch that.
So I watched it. I watched the Aziz Ansari comedy special over the weekend, and he had he had pandemic comedy in there, but as if I interpreted what you were saying correctly, the same reason we wouldn't do a podcast wearing masks. Like I don't want to watch a show with people wearing masks. It would take away the whole dialogue component of it. So,
well, no, that's not true. I mean, we're in our own places doing the podcast. Like if it was a scene of like what like normal life, you would have a pod. They would have Matt. Like it's like you're in the airport and you're like looking askance at people who like don't have their masks covering their nose or like are like flaunting the rules.
Yeah, I've had enough of that. To be honest, I don't need any more of those conversations or content.
That's fine. That's all. Just something that occurred to me.
I've had my fill. What has it been now? 7 years.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the problem.
I don't need any more.
Okay.
All right.
Over to you, Sheil.
Well, Ryan made a little Succession comment, so shout out to Uncle Yaba. Sweet little travel mug here.
Ah, nice.
I only finished season 1, so no spoilers.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we're behind.
All right, it's up to me. Let's go with 11.
11. This is open-ended for your Super Bowl takes. I'll go first. And I know that I am getting suckered into this, and it's not a real thing, and I'm not proud of myself for being upset about this. But the discourse about like, is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer is so ridiculous to me. I mean, what are we doing here? How low is the bar? Hey, he has never been like a top 5 quarterback in the league. Who are we kidding here?
I would agree. Flex, you can hear me on Maggie and Perloff talking about that
nice.
Earlier this week. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand why like every guy, like if you're saying they're not a Hall of Famer, you're saying they suck. Like that's not what it is. You have to reach a level of greatness. In my opinion, you have to have like, I don't know what the number of years is, but multiple years where you're considered like among the top, 3 or 5 players at your position. This is for quarterbacks specifically, let's say. Top 3 or 5 quarterbacks for, let's say, what do you think? 4 or 5 years? Does that
Yes.
seem reasonable?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we have a conversation. Before that, I mean, you could have written about the entire last 13 years of the NFL and not mention Matthew Stafford until
Right.
this year. I mean, it was a complete afterthought. Now, the circumstances matter, as we discussed earlier, but at the same time, this was the point I was going to make earlier, Bo, when you asked, and I had no idea. There are quarterbacks who are, I don't know what the word is, lifters. Like, that's what you want. The guy whose circumstances are less than ideal, like a Joe Burrow. The offensive line, I mean, one of the worst in the NFL. And guess what? He can still operate under those circumstances. I mean, you put Joe Burrow on those Lions teams that Matthew Stafford played on, they're probably getting in the playoffs a little bit more. He's getting some playoff wins under his belt. And so he was always talented. His highs are very high. I mean, if you put together a cut up of his best 10 to 20 plays every year, you would be convinced that, no doubt Hall of Famer, like one of the most talented quarterbacks ever. The problem is, to me, when you add up the bad plays and you add up the entire body of work, not even close. I was actually, once this conversation happened, Bo, I was like, I should have written this. This should have been my column on Monday. I didn't think we were even going to be talking about this.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been a great zag the day after the guy wins the Super Bowl.
Stafford
Get out of here with your stupid
2 picks.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't even win MVP. I mean, he had a good postseason. He had a good year. He's playing with a very talented offensive play caller and schemer. He was playing with the best wide receiver in the NFL this year. He came through. He won a Super Bowl. Now, if he does this for the next, I would say this year, you could easily make the argument he was like a top 5 quarterback. You can make the argument that he wasn't, but statistically, there's a case there. So if he has a year like this, if he wants to do this for the next 4 or 5 years, then talk to me.
I mean, the guy whose best season ever is, you could make an argument that he might be in the top 5. That he is not. That is not a Hall of Famer. Sorry,
Zach might zag here. I'm seeing Zach's face.
No, I just.
Zach's gonna make the Eli case.
No, I don't mean to knock you two curmudgeonly sports writers here, because this is a very sports writer argument.
I know. I'm not proud of myself, but I am triggered by this.
But nothing. Like, there are fewer sports writer arguments that I care about than Hall of Fame debates.
I would agree
with
that.
The NFL is the worst, because it's the stupidest Hall of Fame.
No, but it just doesn't do it for me. It's so hard, it's so subjective, and I appreciate watching Matthew Stafford play football. Now, how Matthew Stafford compares to every other quarterback during his era, that's subjective. I will say one thing that has jumped out to me about Stafford, I thought this before the Super Bowl, was how much his former teammates swear by him, right? We see it on ESPN with Dan Orlovsky. Darius Slay, the amount of times Darius Slay is outspoken about how good Matthew Stafford is, and you go on down the list, Nate Burleson, I've heard him talk about it. He really seems to be someone who, with former teammates, stick their neck out about. So I don't know what that says. But as for the Hall of Fame debate, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't read any of those articles. I got to admit that.
That column.
And by the way, there was a period a few weeks ago when everyone was so outraged about the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I think those guys should be in. But I just don't have strong Hall of Fame opinions. That's just me personally.
I actually agree with you. I was doing a, I don't know if we were doing a podcast or if it was a live room, but there was a commenter asking for my take on the Baseball Hall of Fame stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on right now. I mean, I assume the steroid guys didn't get in, but yes, I just ignore all that for sure.
Yeah. Let me go ahead.
I was going to give you my Super Bowl take.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
My Super Bowl take. And I wrote about this, just the importance of the pass rush. It seems to be a generic thing, but you look at it over these past 7 Super Bowls, the only year when the better defensive line didn't win was San Francisco, Kansas City.
Now, is that just based on who had more sacks in the game, or
I went based on sacks and quarterback hits. No, I went based on the better defensive line in that game.
But that's, I mean, I don't mean to be dismissive, but isn't that like saying, whichever team ran for more yards? Wouldn't you imagine that in every football game, the team with more sacks is going to win the game?
Well, I mean, so in conjunction with the Eagles, to me, like,
I mean, like it's almost like who scored more points.
Not necessarily, but the Eagles were second to last in the NFL in sacks.
Yeah, that's bad.
They need to affect the passer more. The reason I picked the Rams to win the game was exactly what ended up happening. Now, it was a close game, and there were calls in the end that could have made the game go in the other direction. But in gotta have it moments, the Rams pass rush overpowered the Bengals offensive line. And like, I can't emphasize it enough. The Eagles, if you're watching that game, my biggest takeaway was they need to prioritize affecting the quarterback, whether it's, well, both in personnel and in scheme, because they didn't do it nearly well enough this year.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think of this, like, maybe this is just me being a curmudgeon, but I'm pretty still underwhelmed by this Rams team as a Super Bowl team. Like, McVay still coached that game like such a wiener. It is interesting that it is narratively nice that he finally went for it on 4th down, and that was the game-winning drive. Like, I appreciate that, but like that doesn't seem to, like, let's say last 5 Super Bowl champions, Sheil. Rams, Bucks last year, Chiefs the year before, Patriots the year before that, and then the Eagles. Like, how would you stork rank those 5 Super Bowl teams?
How would I stork rank those? What if they played each other?
Yeah, who do you think of as the best team of those Super Bowl teams?
Well, all right. So you said Bucks. Who was before? Oh, it was the Patriots. I mean, I have no idea. I would have to do. I have no idea. I mean, my gut says that probably those middle 3 were the 3 best. Do you disagree?
I think the Bucks and Chiefs are the 2 would stand above.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that Patriots team.
That was a crappy game. I mean, their defense was really good. That was against McVay.
Oh, that was the Okay, sorry. I was thinking of the Falcons one. Okay, that was not. So they beat the Patriots beat the Chiefs though in the AFC Championship game that year, correct?
Yes.
In the D Ford offside
first year, and then in overtime they got the ball.
I mean, that Chiefs team was probably the best. Was probably the best Chiefs team, right? That was the Mahomes 50 touchdown year. So I was. I mean, to answer your question, I don't know. Do you have a strong opinion of stork ranking them?
No. I would that only just occurred to me. But yeah, my only take is that I was underwhelmed by the Rams. But.
Yeah,
I think you're colored by your dislike for McVay. I mean, they won.
That's probably true.
Look, they won 9 of their past 10 games. They have the best defensive player in the NFL, maybe the best player in the NFL. They have perhaps the best cornerback in the NFL. They have one of the best edge rushers of the last decade on their team. They have, as Sheil wrote, historically, like perhaps the best receiver season we've ever seen. Like, to me, this is a very deserving Super Bowl team. I think if the Bengals won, it would actually be the other way around. But like this Rams team was good throughout the year. They beat Tom Brady. Like they absolutely deserve to be called the best team in the NFL right now.
I would say underwhelmed. I would lean more on the underwhelmed. Not that it was just a weird season where there was no great team. There was no juggernaut. And it was kind of who's going to get some bounces go their way. I mean, they, that Bucks game comes down to the wire. Like every game came down to the wire. Now, again, give them credit. They, especially Stafford and Cup executed, and Donald with the play there at the end. But yeah, I do feel if you replayed this season 100 times, I don't think the Rams would come out as the team that won the most Super Bowls. I feel like if you're a Bills fan or a Chiefs fan, you're probably looking at this going, oh my God, especially the Chiefs. I mean, I would love to have a longer Andy Reid discussion. I mean, how many of these opportunities can you let slip out of your hands when you have an unbelievable team? And why don't his best, I don't know. All right, I'm workshopping this take, so tell me if I'm completely wrong.
Let's work through it.
I feel like Andy Reid's best players are not at their best in the biggest moments. I don't know if there's if the butt cheeks get clenched, if there's something about, hey, the first 15 plays were great, but after that we have to adjust, the other team adjusts, and you have no answers. But I don't know. And this is sort of like a little bit of this is a gut from my days, watching games from the stands as an Eagles fan, and then watching the Eagles as a member of the media, and then seeing the Chiefs. Like, it sounds stupid to say that you would be disappointed by the first, 4 seasons, but of Mahomes' career. But man, how many times
like only having one Super Bowl does
and
feel
your favorites?
Bit,
how do you lose 5 games as a favorite in the championship game? I mean, he's been in the championship game 9 times and won the Super Bowl once. I don't know. Maybe I would like to hear what people who have followed Andy Reid closely think about that. But just like, and it's kind of cheap because you could say the previous week was a big game against the Bills and they were great there. So it is unfair, but I don't know. There's always just like, I always have this little seed of doubt when it's like, oh gosh, Andy's in a big spot. And then like the players, it seems to rub off on the players that like Mahomes has his worst half of all time in the second half against the Bengals in the AFC Championship. Like maybe that's just all on Mahomes. I don't know. But we saw it with McNabb before.
I thought that Mahomes had solved that. He was so good that whatever Andy Juju
he made up for it.
But yeah, I mean that Bengals game was,
I don't know.
That's tough.
All right.
Okay.
And then I had one real quick tangential Eagles related take to this.
Is it about the halftime show?
No, as I was watching the Super Bowl, I was watching with my brothers when Odell goes down. I made the comment like Deshaun Jackson asked off of this team.
I was thinking the same thing.
This is a ready-made opportunity for him.
Gosh.
He's playing in his hometown for a coach who had highlighted him
with Snoop there.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been like a hero in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he asked off of that team. There might have been more going on behind the scenes. I know he wasn't featured earlier in the year, but man,
was it before or after Robert Woods got hurt?
No, before. It was before, but yes, I don't think there was much more, Zach. I think McVay explained it, that Deshaun Jackson basically walked into his office and said, I want more opportunities. And McVay's like, we'll get you involved, but you're not going to be replacing Cooper Kupp. You're 34 years old.
It's funny. This is like the circle back to they called him on his threat to retire. He was like, I want the ball. I'm okay, just leave.
Yeah. And so McVay was like, I'm not going to play hardball with you. We're trying to win a title, so we'll find another spot. But I was thinking the same thing throughout the playoffs, even after Woods went down. I mean, think of all these throws to Van Jefferson. That could have been Deshaun Jackson running fast. He wanted to play more. There was a game early in the season. I forget who they played there where he was catching bombs. Do you remember this? It was a national.
I remember.
Game.
Yeah, it was a primetime game. I remember
it was a primetime game, and it's it's probably a pretty good role for you right now, Deshaun. Just play 15 snaps a game.
Right. Isn't that what you want?
3 or
you get
4
to
or
run
5
fast,
deep targets.
10 times.
I think it was Tampa Bay actually. Yeah, I think it was the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah. So I was with you. I mean, he could have had a really nice playoffs for them.
He could have a ring right now, right? I did not understand.
He's with Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah, to me, that had to be one of
He's
the
still
honors.
not even playing that much with Rich Bisaccia. He
Yeah.
didn't go there and he wasn't catching 8 balls a week.
It had to be one of the honor career decisions I've ever seen.
Deshaun.
Anyways,
I would read it. I like that, Zach. Maybe we should team up for a story on that. It'll be for a small audience, but we will laugh as we report it.
Yeah,
I like that. All right, Zach, you've got 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, and 12 on the board.
Wait, is that many? We're already an hour into this. 1.
Okay, well, this is the main event. We've got this is actually not the main event, but number 1 is the robe discussion. So first of all, this straw man argument between the two of you that I'm digging
down,
up,
Marissa.
I got to put my robe back on for the robe
going
discussion.
to the Econo Lodge and asking to use their robes. I do this at every hotel. I mean, give me a break.
Man, Econo Lodge took a shit.
I mean, first of all, hotels are disgusting. Every hotel is gross. If we're gonna look beyond that, that suspension of disbelief, as Marissa dons her robe for the audio listeners. Like if you're at like a nicer place, you're willing to buy into this like faux luxury. You know, a robe could be nice. I wouldn't say that I do it all the time, but also Sheil going like, well, like aren't robes going on like your naked body? Like, what do you think a towel is? You think they're
a towel? You have no choice. Like it's a like you have to dry your body. Same thing with sheets. Like you have to have sheets. And is a robe going on your naked body, or are you wearing undergarments or something underneath?
I would just wear boxers.
I mean, is it that more comfortable than like wearing, like don't you have some comfortable athleisure that would be just as comfortable?
A robe, a nice robe. I mean, assuming you know that it's freshly cleaned, it's like a little hug. Marissa, you give us your robe take.
I think a robe is great. I love mine. As you can see, I'm wearing it on the YouTube version for our audio listeners, but I would never put one on in a hotel because I do not think they wash them. I think they hang them back up.
Well, like a
towel,
of course they wash them. I mean, even I, who would never put one on.
Do you know that for sure?
Just hang them back up. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, like, say you hung it back up. Like, do you think they're going and like, oh, we got to take this robe down and like?
I think they just toss it in with everything else.
In the bathroom, like they're obviously going to scoop them up and wash them. I don't know.
You're saying if you wear it and hang it back up, you think they're not gonna? Yeah, that might be right.
I want closure on the bottom half of my body. I don't want a gap there where if there's a breeze coming up from the heater, I am feeling it there.
The lead. I think we need to toss this over to Zach on his robe take.
Yeah, that's right.
He has a new robe.
Zach was with me.
Yeah, but Zach's got a new development on the robe front.
Yes.
Well, so for Valentine's Day, Emily got me a robe. She's a confirmed listener, and I appreciate the gift, but I stand by what I've never worn a robe before.
Have you?
I'm still trying to understand.
Floor run?
No, I'm still trying to understand the purpose of the robe.
What a bad gift receiver.
I don't want to seem like like a Johnny Tryhard here, but to me, like the robe is it seems like a transition garment, right? And like I would just rather go from I'm just trying to get dressed.
I think that's
I don't need a middle ground. I don't need a middle ground.
I think this is a larger part of Zach's personality where he's incapable of relaxing.
Emily would agree with you on that
Zach's
one,
right.
but to me, like I mean, it just seems like an inefficient use of time to wear that. And no, I mean, I'm married to someone who is very efficient with her use of time.
No offense, Zach.
And she wears a robe. For me personally, it just doesn't do it for me.
So you received this gift, and you know that Emily listens, and you're still not going to wear it.
No, because I will.
You're going to just entertain her.
I will, but look, I love my wife, and all her gifts are things that she thinks like I need. Like I don't wear a winter jacket, so she'll get me a winter jacket. Like I don't wear sunglasses, she'll get me sunglasses. Like things like that, right? So every gift she gets me is when she thinks like this is something that I need in my life. I'm still trying to figure out why I need the robe in my life. But I will report back to you this off season.
I'm not even going to read that one out loud if you want to watch the YouTube show. Transition garment. Now do you see why he wins awards and I don't?
Yeah,
transition garment.
Great turn of phrase.
I'm with you though. Yeah, you go towel, dry off, wrap it around the waist, get the underoos on.
But it's like having the towel wrapped around the waist. I mean, I am not. I feel like I've been painted into the corner as the robe guy. I'm not even. I would say I wear a robe at most like twice a year. But I mean, I feel like they're catching too many strays here.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Soprano made the robe very, very
that's
famous,
true.
So,
and he's a Johnny Tryhard, Zach.
He believes in the transition garment.
You have to try it out, Zach. Give it a chance.
Yes.
Try it out. You know, if you're
post the picture on Twitter.
Going downstairs, you don't have coffee in the morning, right?
I'm starting to try to get into coffee more.
Okay,
I'm not yet at the point where I can just drink it without anything in it. I still need like stuff that makes it sweeter. So I'm still in that process.
I think this is the right take. from Brent in the chat, who says, Zach realizing it is a transition garment, but not being able to imagine a transition time is perfect. Man has 0% downtime.
Excellent comment.
Thank you, Brent.
All right, Sheil. One more before the next break. We've got 2, 4, 7, 9, and 12 on the board.
9.
Okay, 9. This is my favorite. This is our last show with Marissa before the wedding. We've got to get into
Is that
this.
true?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
I'm officially off on starting Monday for the countdown.
So people in the chat, give us your last bits of advice for Marissa.
Yes.
Could be for the wedding weekend, could be for marriage in general.
The honeymoon.
The honeymoon. Wear a robe. Let's celebrate our superstar here. And I do need to know, Marissa, is this our last show with Marissa Morris? Are we going Marissa done?
Yes. Once I figure out how to do all that.
Wow.
So if anyone has any advice on, I hear that's a pain in the butt.
Yes, I remember
Changing
that
your
from my
name.
wife, that it is just
yes.
just a ridiculous bit of bureaucratic red tape.
Yeah, so I'm really not looking forward to that. To be honest, I have not even looked into that yet. I figured when I get back from the honeymoon, I will deal with all of the changing the.
Yeah, that's
name
what I
and
was
stuff.
gonna say. Is wait until after you have anything that you've already booked with
Yes,
your
because your
maiden name.
passport. That's what somebody
Exactly.
told me.
Yeah, that could be a complication. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to that part of it, but I am looking forward to officially being Mrs. Dunn. So yeah,
Wow.
Done and
weird,
dusted.
very weird, but exciting.
What about the Twitter handle?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, am I?
What do
gonna
you
put,
like the people in our company who keep asking if our email address is going to get changed? I mean, talk
I wanna
about
know if she's thought
unimportant
about these
questions
things.
here.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll have to ask somebody about how I do all of that. Yeah, I don't know. My Twitter handle is Marissa _Morris. So I don't know how that will go.
Now,
Maybe
your
I just-
email, you actually keep the same. My wife had this, like her original last name on her email still.
Okay. But maybe
My
like
wife
the
has a new
name
one, but
changes.
it's like it's linked. You can link it.
Oh, okay. All good
So-
things. Yeah.
So Bo teased me one time when he saw my text messages, and I haven't changed Emily's name in my phone from it's still her maiden name from when we were dating. So I guess that I don't know what you are in Michael's phone, but if you're Marissa Morris, well, you be changed to Marissa Dunn in his phone.
Good
I'm
question.
actually, because I changed this myself, I am Marissa with the princess emoji.
Okay. It'd be better if you didn't add in that you changed it yourself, and we just thought that Michael puts the princess emoji there.
Yeah, no, I actually had to do that because I had like a little heart emoji and stuff next to his name on my phone. And I was like, what the heck? I'm just Marissa. So
Yeah.
I had to make sure that there was like the crown and the little princess girl.
Save
So-
it for the vows.
What do you have for your wife in your phone, Sheil?
Well, I was just looking. I have Jessica K, and I have no other Jessicas in my phone. So she has asked in the past, why do you have K there? And
I feel like the
have
K
no-
is very funny.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Her maiden name was not a K, was it?
No, and I
Okay.
also have this issue where I have every
I go
contact
full
in my
Rachel Wulf.
phone twice. Oh, you go full.
I go full name for everybody.
No emojis?
No,
No
just full name
emojis.
for
I didn't
everybody.
even know you could do emojis
Yeah.
Huh.
in the context. So I'm playing to my 50-year-old man thing here. And yeah, I don't know why everyone's at some point when I was transitioning phones, not transitioning garments, every contact got duplicated. So I have two people.
Oof.
Every
For everyone?
contact is twice.
That's
Well,
awful.
That's
most
an
of
easy fix. That's an easy
Okay,
fix.
what do I do?
Oh,
What do I do without
Geek
make sure
Squad
I
over
want
here.
to make sure I don't delete anything?
You can merge. There's a way of automatically merging contacts, so there's no duplications. I can show you in
Save it after
Indianapolis.
the pod.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, in Indy, I can do it.
You can
What
show
do
me
we-
in Jersey.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
right.
that- yeah,
Yeah.
if we're spending the wedding fixing your phone, that's. I think
No,
Marissa's
I
gonna be
expect you guys
disappointed.
all on the dance floor. Yes.
Well, as I told you, we're in quarantine. The only thing I'm actually worried about is the imperiled attendance at the wedding, but I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
now
it's
you're in
actually
great.
better.
This is
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Well, yeah,
living it up.
but you see, if it had if the kids then It's
Right.
more of a it's more of a childcare thing than us attending. Like we still need somebody to
You
watch.
could just
but-
bring them. Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
If they're fine. Yeah.
What do we have as parting pieces of wisdom or advice for our bride to be? Anything good?
Yeah, you guys are all married.
best-
I have nothing.
The best piece of marriage advice that was given to us during the pre-wedding process was make sure you buy the expensive Christmas tree stand.
Oh, so that my cousin had this issue this
like
year.
there were like
Yep.
some like knockdown drag out fights about like
Yep.
a faulty Christmas tree stand.
I can relate to that in my family. Yes, okay, good advice. Christmas tree stand and Hanukkah menorah.
And I was going to say yes, exactly. Yeah, buy the expensive menorah.
Got it. Okay, Sheil.
Okay.
I would have to give it some thought. We'll revisit it. I'll send you
Shield's advice is don't say hi the first time you see each other in the morning.
Like I send you ad reads. Maybe I'll think of something and then I can record 30 seconds and send it to you.
Okay.
I'll come up with something.
Zach.
Is this about
be the thermometer, not the thermostat?
is this about marriage or the wedding? I would just
Both.
Neither one.
I would just say we had a listener recently who asked us this and we talked about it on the pod.
Yeah, what did we say? I feel like I had something then.
I would say focus a lot more on being married than getting married. Like the wedding day is one day, but the relationship you have always be like focused on that and working on that.
Wow.
That's what I would say. Every day think about how
Every
I was
day?
talking to Michael. Yeah, how you can be a better
Before the
husband.
wedding,
How you can yeah.
That's very good advice.
I would
Zach.
go like how soak up the wedding. Like make sure you don't get too drunk. Make sure you're able to like enjoy.
Marissa's gonna
everybody
get
there.
too
I don't know.
drunk.
No, definitely not.
Well, you got to make sure you eat. So
Yes.
That's
Yes.
true.
I even said I'm nervous what to eat because, having celiac, I don't want to accidentally eat something and that be the
Right.
cause of me not feeling well. So I might even I know another girl that recently got married that said she brought her own food. I was like, that's a little far, but make sure I eat the right things.
Get
Yeah.
away from me, weirdo.
Yeah. But I'm very excited. There should be lots of good food, so I hope you guys all enjoy that. But I definitely won't be overeating for sure. Gotta make sure.
I'm never the one for good advice. I mean, when I get asked for like the journalism advice, I always say ask for more money once you get offered a job because you have the leverage. I remember once I had a
something that
friend.
nobody else is doing. That's what you gave last. Episode.
Once I had a friend who was asking me, he was still he was saying, how do you know when you're how did you know to like propose? I go, well, my friends were like doing it, so I just figured it was probably the right time. And he's like, wait, so you were just like peer pressured by your friend? Listen, you don't have to put that much thought into it.
How romantic for Jessica K to listen to that.
That's
Well,
great.
that's right.
I appreciate all the advice, and I'm very excited for you guys to all attend.
And how's our boy doing on the vows?
Oh, not great. The vows are a big
He's gonna
stress
knock it
for
out of the
Michael,
park.
and we'll have to get him on the pod after the wedding or maybe you guys could just live stream how it goes because, he's played at Lambeau Field on Christmas Day, he's played in a playoff game, yet like the thought of the vows are really not writing them. He's been doing good writing them, he says, but speaking them in front of
Well,
everybody.
didn't he win like the Gridiron Award in college?
Yeah, he gave a
gave his
few
speech?
speeches at
Exactly.
Maryland. Yeah.
He speaks to the media. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. He says that's not prepared him.
No.
He says he has to go first so that he can actually listen to my vows because if I go first, he will just be thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to go next. So yeah, that's the biggest hurdle so far for him, I think. But he'll do it. So.
And a good question from the chat: will you be walking down the aisle or coming back from the aisle to the Birds with Friends theme?
That's a very, very good comment by Taylor.
How many coworkers are invited to this bad boy?
Well, so you guys are gonna have to get along with Connor Hughes because he will be there as well. He's actually at a different table. I have
Smart.
two football-y tables, some Browns players, Michael's agent, so good little mix.
I want to be at Jimmy Haslam's table. Yeah.
JH will not be attending.
Sorry.
No working for Zach. I was like, we need to actually
He's
probably put
incapable,
Zach
yeah.
at like the kids' table. Where
Zach
he can,
needs
like,
to wear a
have some
robe
fun.
just to make sure that he's off.
Yeah. I want, no working for Zach to have fun. So yeah, the seating chart has actually been quite the nightmare. Nobody
tough.
warned me about that. Just getting it printed, I think today. So,
and so I think we can say definitively, since there are 3 of us invited and only 1 of Connor, that we're your favorite podcast. I mean,
Tim is also invited. McMaster, who is the
so 3-2.
Yeah,
Still.
3-2. Yeah.
Or you could make the case that they give Marissa bigger roles, and she's like the third person. She'll be 33% of that podcast, as opposed to 25% of this one.
I don't need you backstabbing us here. Okay. You're on our side here.
Well,
okay. So should be fun. I'm very excited.
We're all very excited.
Yeah.
And one other thing, and I can't remember what it was. So.
I hope you guys, I'm gonna have FOMO missing so many pods while I'm gone. But
they're gonna be terrible without you.
I
figured we would just take a break until.
Well, I think
you guys are all gonna be in Indy together.
We'll have a little Kent, throw back to the old Kent days. That's exciting.
I'm very excited. You guys will be recording on site together, which will be cool at Radio Row in Indy.
Hopefully we can get Pauline.
What?
Oh, have to. Yeah.
I missed the joke. So yeah, that will be cool. Finally getting you guys all in the same room. So I will be sad to be missing that. But
I don't think you'll be on your honeymoon. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be listening from Maui. How about that? So
please don't.
We'll just address you directly about on every topic.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Time for another break, and then we'll be back to close things out with the last 4 things that we have.
This podcast is brought to you by DirecTV Stream. Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. With the Super Bowl in the rear view, both basketball and hockey are starting to ramp up. And for many of us, there's no better way to enjoy the games than by having some skin in the game, which is why BetMGM remains the exclusive betting partner of The Athletic. And as a fan of The Athletic, you can bet $10 to win $200 plus a free 1-year subscription or extension to your subscription with The Athletic when you bet with BetMGM using our promo code. Just sign up at betmgm.com and use the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout to take advantage of this special offer from the king of sportsbooks. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, Washington, D.C., Nevada, Wyoming, and Virginia, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, 1-800-GAMBLER in Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789 in Tennessee or call 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana.
All right, I have 3 quick housekeeping things. Number 1, headed to NYC with the family. I've gotten some good tips from the listeners, so keep those coming one way or another. Appreciate those for sure. We have our friend Wenzel in the comments here, who is how long has this been? About a year long?
I respect the commitment to I have
City
something
of
about
God.
this.
Okay, so he's been, I don't want to say harassing because he's a loyal listener, big supporter of the show, so it's not harassing, but relentless pushing me to watch City of God. Guess what? I've only got 40 minutes left. I've been watching City of God.
Really?
I've been watching
man.
it.
I have a video to play that he sent me that
Okay.
I forgot about.
Okay. I've been watching it in little chunks here. And so, yeah, you'll probably get a review in the next couple of weeks from me for City of
How about
God.
Coda?
No, who recommended that one? You?
Me, like many times. I told you this is my number one recommendation for
But
you.
I was
You
looking
and
at the
Jessica K are gonna
spreadsheet.
love
I
it.
didn't see that on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, it was after
this
that.
later?
It was a much
All right, how
more
do you
like
spell it?
1-to-1
How do you spell
CODA.
it? CODA.
You and Jessica K.
Okay.
We'll soak it up.
All right.
Okay. Was that 3 or 2?
The other one. I want some. Do we have anyone in the audience who has like a regular like volunteering gig around Philadelphia? You know, let's get some community opportunities going here.
I like that.
In the off season, you know, maybe we can get a bunch of listeners to go do the same thing on a morning or something like that. So if you are involved in something like that around the city, suburbs, whatever, let us know. Try to organize.
I like that.
You know, don't just waste away our lives looking at Twitter and watching City of God all day.
I know that's right. Okay. By the way, did you mention that on Abbott Elementary there was an I Know That's Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
With an eagle sign in the background of the scene. I mean, somebody is a fan.
Come on. All right, Zach, 2, 4, 7, and 12 on the board.
It's crazy that we said we had nothing to talk about on this podcast. And it's
that was
12
true.
We get together
right
once
now.
a week. I mean,
And we're at
it's
2
gonna be
4s.
long.
Yeah, I got a feature I'm working on here. 2.
Flex.
2.
Oh,
2.
2. The Doug Peterson conversation. We don't have to have a whole conversation about it again. I thought you guys did a very good job. One thing I wanted to just clarify. This is not against you guys, but the notion. I don't know if you have seen the interview he had. But it's not like he was just on the beach sipping Mai Tais all year long.
His brother passed away.
His brother passed away from cancer, and he said that he was like, you know, he was grateful that he had a lot of time to spend with him.
Oh, I didn't know that. He just
yeah.
said that recently?
Yeah, I think last month. Yeah.
Okay.
His brother in October
Sheil's
pancreatic cancer.
Sheil's favorite writer, Tim McManus, did a feature on Doug back in December where he had talked about how the year away. Yeah, he became a grandfather. His son got married. His brother passed away. So it was his first year without football since he was in college, or since before college, or basically probably since high school, right? And so so it gave him a chance to kind of catch up on life, if you will.
Well, they're definitely not dictating to him who to hire on his staff. So if he wanted full control, it looks like he's got full control there.
Now I do. And I was looking. I've been when I would see like, oh, Bill Shuey's joining the staff and Rory Segrest is joining the staff, like my eyes would roll and I'd be like thinking, okay, here we go. Like it's going to be a disaster down there. But the staff is actually, as I looked at it, not as bad as I was thinking. I mean, I think a lot probably comes down to Press Taylor. I think like I believe that Press Taylor can be better than he was in that last year with the Eagles. I think it could be okay. But the Caldwell thing is interesting. I think there's some other like reasonable hire. Like Rory Segrest is not the defensive line coach. He's the assistant defensive line coach. Like Brenton Buckner is an actual real guy. So what were we going to say?
He's a good one too.
I'm trying to get my spreadsheet to load here and having some issues, but I just put together my like off-season spreadsheet of every team and their resources. And man, the Jags are like, they're just loaded with resources to quickly improve that team if they don't screw it up. Now they screw it up every time. So I'm not going to say that they're not going to do it this time, but it really is like if, we had that conversation before about the sort of best destinations or who have the best situations to go into. It's pretty much, the Giants have a good one. They've got the 2 first round picks, but here you go. They have 4 top 100 picks. They've got I kind of forgot that they had the first pick overall for the second straight season. They've got all kinds of cap space. They really have the resources to kind of build around Trevor Lawrence, put a supporting cast around him, and you're going from like Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson. Like, I don't know. I mean, they might become sort of a trendy pick to be a lot much improved once we get to August.
Well, it is interesting that he gets the same thing as when he came in for Chip, where he just gets to be like the antithesis of the hardo who came before him. But I mean, all of that said, we really trust Trent Baalke to get this right from a roster building
that's
perspective? True. Right? Come on. Sheil, 4, 7, and 12.
4.
Very short. I just wanted to say that I agree with you that eating lunch in the car is a lovely thing. Love a lunch in the car.
Yeah. I
Just-
had a
just have that
summer
down.
where I did a little part-time work at, I think it was called Supreme Janitorial Services, I believe.
I believe you've mentioned them before.
Okay. And I would drive to Wawa for lunch, grab some lunch, sit in my car, turn on sports talk
It's a me
radio,
time.
windows down, eat, and then go back. I mean, I don't know that I've ever been happier.
Again,
Too
Jessica
far.
K
Okay,
catching
maybe too
strays.
far. Yeah.
All right, Zach, 7 and 12.
Let's go 12.
12, I was going to give you a chance to give us a little Stone Cold Newsman update on Jason Kelsey. No definitive news, but it seems like maybe some leanings from your former colleague.
Well, Jeff McClain from the Inquirer was in Los Angeles, where Jason Kelsey was, obviously as a Man of the Year candidate, and
love that he did the suit and sandals at the Super Bowl. Great move.
And so Jeff caught up with Jason, and Jason was also on radio the week before, actually the anniversary.
That was a
of the
very good
Super
interview,
Bowl.
I thought.
And so it's come up, and as he's done during the past few years, he's taking his time after the season. He's considering whether he's able to be the player, the teammate, the leader that he wants to play. I recommend it. I'm sorry, that he wants to be. I recommend everyone go back and check Bo's story from January 2020 on a season in the life of Jason Kelsey. And I bring that up because what's interesting is Jason seems to be physically okay, ready to play, right? And that's often the concern is like the mounting injuries. Can he still go? It seems like he feels like physically he can be the player he wants to be. It's just whether he's mentally interested in continuing to play. But it certainly sounds like that's going to be. It sounds like he's leaning in that direction. People we spoke to at the Senior Bowl were certainly talking like this is a distinct possibility that he could be back. So we'll see. And what's interesting too, and Jason mentioned this to Jeff, was that he went into the year thinking it was going to be his last year. And as Bo pointed out a few times, like the way he kind of spoke to us during the year, it was almost like an ongoing, he would get emotional about things. He would kind of give state of Jason, what's on his mind on a given day. But he certainly, it seems as if he's ready to keep playing. So we'll see.
My other, this is not a specifically Kelsey thing, but one thing that is like, maybe it's not fair to say getting on my nerves, but like every mock draft, I know the Eagles have 3 first-round picks, but this idea that they need to draft a Kelsey replacement, and you keep seeing Tyler Linderbaum linked to the Eagles. Like they've got 2 guys who can play center, who are starting caliber, and Sayamalo and Dickerson. They've got all these guys who have played guard in the past 2 years with Brandon Brooks. They could definitely use like one more really good interior offensive lineman, but that doesn't have to come in the first round. And like to reach for the Kelsey replacement so early, it seems like. I mean, I know everybody's just like looking for team fits, but let's.
I would also say, and again, this I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the rear end. But any mock draft that does not have the Eagles taking an edge rusher in the first round, you can throw it away. As long as the Eagles have,
I agree with that.
As long as
at least
Eagles
a
have
defensive lineman, at least.
Sorry, Walter Football.
Yeah. But as long as the Eagles, now the caveat here is if they trade first round picks to get, Russell Wilson, let's say, right, then it's a different conversation. But if they have 3 first round picks, or if they have 2 first round picks, one of those will go to help their pass rush.
I definitely
with O-line, by the way. I mean, if there's one area where you could say Howie has really found guys on day 3 and Stoutland has coached them up to at least competency, I mean, it's unbelievable how many guys that they've just plug in there and you're like, okay, they're at least okay. I mean, watch that Bengals game. I mean, it's not
My
easy
boy,
to,
Hakeem Adeniji.
yeah, watch the Super Bowl. It's not easy to do. And so, yeah, I would not be dumping a lot of resources into that. And by the way, I know I've said this before, but that Mailata contract, my gosh, I'm looking at, I did my top 75 free agents, and Orlando Brown, like I'm seeing him down some of these lists. Like he's going to make over 23 million a year. And they got Mailata for 16 and a half.
4 years, 64
Will you give
million.
me a little extra credit for my prediction that he'd be the highest paid? He'd be the highest paid.
He wasn't. You were wrong.
If he had hit the market.
Hypotheticals.
But I do think we need to do our favorite edge rushers like we did our favorite receivers a few years ago, because
I like
as Dane Brugler has pointed out, this is an edge rusher draft, and the Eagles will be in the market for them. And there's different types, similar to, if Sheil wants to stump for Jalen Rager again, and I want to stump for T. Higgins again, right? We can do something like that with if you love Karlaftis, or you love Jermaine Johnson, or you love Abajo, you go on down the list.
Ojabo.
There's some real Ojabo, yes, so there's some interesting edge rushers this year.
Next week's episode will be our Flu World Order annual exercise, in which we rank the likelihood of all the Eagles players coming back the next season. Let's close things out here, Sheil.
Please.
This is actually a big picture conversation, and it's a bit of a follow up to what you were talking about, your prediction on the Eagles making a quarterback edition. But I wonder what you guys, and I thought about this listening to you guys talk about it, but like from a roster building standpoint for the Eagles, with like, is Jalen Hurts the guy or not? Do you, like, I think one thing they have to answer is, do you approach this offseason, if they do want to move forward with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback this year, where they really want to build out like the run-based offense in terms of pieces? Like, are you going to try to prioritize finding your Nick Boyle, right? Or things like that? This is related to the wide receiver conversation you were going to have. Or do you build the roster out for quarterback TBD? We still need, 3 dynamic wide receivers, and this is going to be plug and play for whoever is the quarterback. And if that's the case, are you shortchanging Jalen Hurts' opportunity because you're not giving him the best chance to be the best version of himself?
Well, I think it's a fair question. I mean, it would depend what their internal evaluations are and what they think the likelihood is of Jalen Hurts making a big leap as a passer. As I wrote in my predictions, I mean, I sort of feel like they're going to be looking at quarterbacks pretty aggressively this offseason. So if that's the case, we know what the organization wants to do. They believe in passing the ball and passing efficiency. And so on the last pod, I mean, I was arguing that, does it make sense to spend $15 million on a wide receiver in free agency? And I still think the answer to that is probably no, but that wasn't meant to be, you just sit tight at wide receiver. As Zach had mentioned, you could sign a guy on a 1-year deal. You could certainly use a draft pick on a wide receiver or acquire one who's a little bit less expensive. So I don't think they're going to go all in on some type of build around Jalen Hurts type philosophy this offseason. I mean, he was able to opt, because the fact is, like, if he can't get better as a passer, then it probably, the other stuff probably doesn't matter. And so you still have to make sure you're contributing resources to the passing game, and you don't know where you're going to be a year from now. I would even say that defensively with Jonathan Gannon, like, I wouldn't go overboard trying to find pieces to fit Jonathan Gannon's scheme. Like, it sounds cliche, and certainly you have to look a little bit at your scheme fits, but you have to bet on the talent more than anything else, because there's so much uncertainty with them right now.
Well, no. I was going to make the exact same connection to Gannon's defense, where, I mean, from like a roster building standpoint, and this is a thing where, Howie Roseman has been able to sort of explain away some draft mistakes in the past by saying that, it was the coaching staff, specifically with Rager, that they were following. But like, you can't be drafting a guy in the 3rd round because he's a good fit for the Sam role in Gannon's defense. If, Gannon might leave next year and all of a sudden you got a new defensive scheme, Or like if you want to build a run-based offense around Jalen Hurts, are you going to overdraft a running back in the third round or something like that because you want to build out the best version of that? I think you have to be thinking. I mean, the draft has to be get the best players here, and then you use free agency to fortify the short-term needs of the roster.
Frankly, the thing that impressed me most about Nick Sirianni in his first year was how he was able to adjust to his personnel. So I think get the best players you have and then figure it out from there. Like draft the best guys and make it work.
Yeah, I mean the only areas where it would be a mistake to like dump significant resources, in my opinion, would be tight end. You just paid a guy for, and maybe we'll just be having the resources conversation again.
I think that is possible.
Okay. I would not do that. And then left tackle, you're in great shape, so if you want to add a depth piece or whatever, that's fine. But you have a young guy there there's no path to somebody else playing unless he gets injured. And so depth is important, but those are really the only two areas. I mean, I can't think of another position. I'm trying to think off the top of my head where I would look at it and say, why did they invest that? I mean, you really could invest in any other area on the entire roster.
I agree. I mean, you might even want to look for a Jordan Mailata type on the other side of the line.
Yeah, that's a nod to Daniel Fa'alele, who I am in the process of working on a story about. So,
a little tease to seed for you. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of Birds with Friends. Marissa,
hungry.
Any parting words? I mean, you're walking off into matrimony after this.
I mean, not right after this.
I'm very excited to see all you guys and meet your wives. I'm like super excited for that. And yeah, I can't wait. And I can't wait to show all the listeners our pictures. And yeah, very excited.
Very excited.
Top of the list, showing the listeners the pictures.
We are so excited for you. And frankly, you deserve have a few weeks without us, given how that.
I will be listening. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm sure there's going to be like crazy NFL news while I'm gone. I mean, that's the only way it will work. There's going to be quarterbacks going all over, and I just know that. But I'm excited, and I can't wait.
You see, the only thing I hope is that there's not like news that night. Where
I know.
All of a sudden, Emily's like, if you pick up your phone right now, you are done. And because that conversation's come up. So yes,
the officiant is like, all right, do any sickos have any final words before?
Yeah,
Michael, tell me about your beard. Great shape.
All right, well, that'll do it, and we all send you off with our love and support. This show is garbanzo beans without Marissa. So for Marissa, Zach, Sheil, Michael, and Elijah, I'm Bo. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. And as always, we love you.